Happy week, everybody. Welcome to the Cam Jam Experience. We have a discussion about playoffs. We're going to be talking about the NHL, NBA, and, of course, we got Kickin with Cam. We got a derby talk instead of NASCAR. Man, I've always loved horse racing.
Dude, horses freak me out. I'm not even going to lie.
They do?
Yeah.
It's in my blood. I had two great uncles who raised horses, and I had one great uncle who did pulling horses. Do you know what pulling horses are? They have to
Is that
pull
the one where
weight.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, what did you think that was?
I was thinking it was one of the events where you like have to jump and stuff.
No. Pulling horses are you go in like a drag racing thing. I don't know it very well, but I know they used to do it.
Yeah, I get the premise. That makes sense.
And so I love horse racing, so I'm going to be doing derby for the next couple weeks. Also, I have a little bit of a gambling niche, which is probably bad. So horse racing works with that, where you can just go up to the track and they're like, "Who you betting on?"
Seabiscuit.
Yeah, exactly. Just random names. But yeah, we're gonna do that, and then I'm gonna end with a little bit of draft talk. Like I said, it's a big year for the Lions. They gotta draft someone big. So as I said before, we're gonna talk about the draft every show, just for a little bit. But Cameron has this thing he wants to talk to me about real quick.
So, I know you know this, but over the weekend, a lot happened in the music world. And I consider me and you to be like, in our group of friends, the music gurus, would you say?
I'd say so.
Because
we know more
Yes.
than they do.
Yes. We both listen to like all kinds of music, classic rock, country, hip-hop, whatever. You're more on the sides of country. You absolutely love country.
I'd say country and classic rock is me.
Yeah.
And you're more hip-hop.
More hip-hop, R&B,
yes.
like that. So, an album came out by our favorite rapper, Kendrick Lamar, called Damn.
Damn!
I listened to it all the way through.
I did.
You did too.
Oh, such a
Is
great album.
there a better rapper than Kendrick Lamar right now?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Always been my guy.
Yeah.
But the argument that people would have would be J. Cole.
Yeah, which is true. J. Cole is awesome.
And I'm not saying he's bad at all.
No. That's not it at all. But there are also two other songs that came out this weekend that I'm sure you didn't hear. And it's another rapper that we absolutely love, Logic.
Yeah, he had that one song.
Black Spider-Man.
No, that's not the one I was thinking of. I didn't listen to that one. I listened to the
Everybody?
other one. Everybody. I listened to Everybody. I like it.
His new album is going to be sweet.
Well,
it's supposed to come out Cinco de Mayo.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you saw this or not, but on the cover, a rapper that we have mentioned is on the cover.
Really?
Yeah, J. Cole is in the top right corner, sitting on top of like a castle-like structure.
That's pretty cool.
That's weird, right?
That's pretty cool.
So, either way, that's all I wanted to talk to you about real quick.
Of course.
A lot of rap music coming out. A lot of great artists in the rap game now.
Yeah, but there's a lot of terrible artists.
There are a lot of terrible ones, but that's the commercial.
I was in the car the other day with a good friend of mine, and we were driving somewhere, and he goes, "Hey, man, can I plug my phone in?" And I go, "Sure," because I'm, like you said, we listen to all types of music.
Yes.
So I really don't care what's on.
Exactly.
He turned on T. Grizzly.
Who is that?
You don't know who T. Grizzly is?
No. Do I want to know?
No, you don't.
Oh, okay.
He's got this song called, like, Just Out or whatever, like, Just Checked Out, and it's basically, with the...
Is he about to check out of the rap game? Is that what
I think it's about checking out of jail. I couldn't listen to it.
Okay.
I couldn't listen to it, but mainly it was awful, and he said, "Oh, do you want me to pick something else?" And I refused him from picking the radio because of the song.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not
No more aux cord?
No more aux cord. You know how it is. No more aux cord.
Yeah, because on the way when we went up to that conference in Mount Pleasant, which is about a 2-hour drive from where we are, I played music the whole time, and you were totally fine with it.
Well, we're very similar.
Yeah, that is
We're very
true.
good friends.
It's pretty much just Chance the Rapper the whole time.
It's hard because, like, if you don't know someone very well, like, let's say I went with someone I didn't really know, and he goes, "Hey, can I pick the aux cord?" You have no idea what you're gonna get.
Yeah, it could be techno.
Like you look at me and you're like, "Let's listen to some Elvis Costello, you nerdy white boy." But it turns out I actually know some of the hippity hop and all that stuff. So that's the surprising.
The hippity hop.
What? It's now called hippity hop.
I mean, in the spirit of Easter, sure, it's hippity hop. Right, Happy Easter, everyone. That happened on Sunday. But let's get into what this real podcast is about. NHL talk.
Oh, I don't think I want to talk about NHL because I told you a couple weeks ago, Columbus Blue Jackets, they're looking good.
Yeah.
They're looking good.
Yeah.
Well, today, Monday, April 17th, Columbus is down 3-0 to Pittsburgh.
Yep.
So I don't think they're looking good anymore.
No.
We're gonna do this a little differently. We're gonna talk about the second round of the NHL because I think there's gonna be some matchups that are gonna be really fun to watch, and it's not been very fun to watch hockey.
For us.
Well, for most of the season, I think
Because we're Detroiters
yes.
and the Red Wings, yeah.
So I think there's gonna be some series that people are gonna want to see, and that Pittsburgh thing upsets me.
Well,
I want to see Pittsburgh do
Pittsburgh
good.
is just way
but
too
not,
good, though. That's all it is.
Not in the way they do it is the problem.
But,
Crosby's helped his team win yesterday.
Yeah.
He had the puck for 20 full seconds.
Yeah, dude. You got to realize that's what the team is. The team is Crosby trying to figure out where to get a good play started off at, and then Evgeny Malkin pushes the play further. But one thing that I do want to mention is Marc-Andre Fleury wasn't even supposed to be on the team in the playoffs.
Right.
He was supposed to get traded, and he's
Yes.
playing like an animal right now.
Right. But probably very surprising is the Chicago-Nashville series. Chicago's the number 1 seed
Yup.
in the West, and Nashville just squeaked in.
Yup.
And Nashville's up 2-0.
Yup.
And not only are they up 2-0, Chicago hasn't scored a goal.
No. And
And
the Preds goalie has 2 points in this series because he has 2 assists. That's more points than anyone has on Chicago.
that's not good.
That's not good.
No, but I'm looking at this bracket, and I see some teams who could really shock. What I mean by that is, do you have a shocking team that you think could do very well? Nashville could be that team because you were talking about Nashville before the show started.
Yeah.
Is it Nashville?
No, Nashville's not my team. I like Edmonton.
Edmonton is very good. At the
Because-
moment on Monday, April 17th, Edmonton leads San Jose 2-1.
Yep.
And, man, they are fast. They
Dude,
are a fast
They're a
team.
fast young team. They're kind of like Toronto's a similar
Agreed.
team to Edmonton. They're both fast and young. They have something to build on, which is awesome, which you kind of see with the Wings, but their talent is just not as good as what Toronto and Edmonton has. Yes, the San Jose Sharks are a decent team, but Edmonton is just, they're way too good. McDavid is just outstanding.
Well, what I like about
Unreal.
Edmonton is their 90s hockey. Like, they hit hard, they move fast. They're not really offensive-minded. They're more defense and we'll just go shoot.
They get those scrappy goals.
Yes, they get scrappy goals. So that's a fun team. Your team is Edmonton. My team is St. Louis. Because
Okay.
if it keeps going the way it is in their bracket,
Yeah,
St. Louis is going to get to the Western Conference Finals.
easily.
Because they're leading on Minnesota right now 3-0, and I guarantee they're going to win in Game 4 or Game 5.
Yes.
And then they're going to have Nashville or Chicago, and St. Louis matches up with Chicago very well.
They do.
They have those big guys to compete with Chicago. So I think St. Louis is a clear match right now for the Western Conference Finals.
I'd have to say so too. I think the Western Conference is probably going to come down to Chicago's probably not going to turn around against the Preds, to be honest, as sad as that is.
It's gonna be hard.
It's going to be really hard. You're already
Especially-
down 2-0. You haven't scored a goal. You
but
don't
they
know
got to
what
go back
it
to
is.
Nashville. It's the hardest part.
Yeah.
They already
That's the
had the
worst
2
part.
games at Chicago.
They got swept in Chicago for the first 2 games without even having a goal. Imagine how mad you would be if you were a Chicago fan going to those games and not seeing a goal, not seeing Taves score,
I
not
wouldn't
seeing
think it was
Kane
real.
score.
I wouldn't think
Dude,
it was real.
I didn't believe it when I heard that it was real, that they hadn't scored. I had to look it up on 4 different websites to make sure that I wasn't getting BS'd.
Right, and that's why I think this Nashville team can beat Chicago. I'm not going to guarantee it.
I
like
mean,
you,
they're always a
Chicago's-
team. They're always a team that's very hard. We saw them a lot when the Red Wings were still in the playoffs,
Right.
and they always gave the Red Wings a run for their money or went past the Red Wings.
Chicago. That was back when we were in the other conference,
Right.
like 6-7 years ago. Anyway, I wanted to bring up 2 fun matchups that are going to be next round. I'd say almost guaranteed, but if it doesn't happen, then it's still going to be fun. What I mean by that is Pittsburgh's leading Columbus 3-0, so I'm
Right.
pretty sure Pittsburgh's going to be in the second round.
They got to be.
So Pittsburgh's either got Toronto or the Capitals, which right now
Those
they're
are two
tied
hard
1-1.
matchups.
I think it's going to be Pittsburgh and Washington. I love that Pittsburgh-Washington matchup.
Washington is
Crosby,
just a great team.
Ovechkin,
Mhm.
hard-fighting defenders
TJ
against
Yoshi.
hard-fighting defenders. You
Yep.
just got my next point. Guys who can quick stick, scrap around. Oh, it's going to be such a fun matchup. Who do you think would win that matchup between Pittsburgh and the Caps, though?
My pick before the season even officially ended and playoffs were settled was the Caps.
Yeah, you had the Caps.
Because I just think they're a solid team. They're a team that they haven't done much in the playoffs with Ovi and TJ and
Yes.
all their players, but like they're just a good, solid team who knows how to work together very well, which I think helps them a lot. But Pittsburgh is also one of those teams. I think the difference between Pittsburgh and the Caps, though, is the Caps are hard hitting compared to Pittsburgh.
Oh my gosh, they are.
I think that's gonna be the downfall to Pittsburgh, is getting hit repeatedly over and over and over. They're just gonna get worn out.
Right, and that leads me to my other matchup, which I'm going to agree with you, and I think the Capitals are going to beat Pittsburgh. This is all assuming and guessing, so we could be wrong here. That Eastern Conference Finals between Washington and either one of these two teams, Montreal or Ottawa, is going to be amazing.
I think Ottawa probably.
But that's going to be an unbelievable series to watch Washington versus Ottawa play.
Oh,
Like I feel like hockey, in a sense, is not like the NBA in this sense, which is what I love. It's not stacked on one side.
Well, dude, like the main difference that I see is the way that NHL players play in the playoffs compared to NBA is NHL, it's life or death. We saw two guys get smacked in the face with a puck,
and then they
came back in like nothing was wrong.
Yes.
Who was the man on the Columbus team?
I can't think of him.
He got whacked in the eye, and they showed it on. I was watching SportsCenter last night. They showed his face, and his whole left. No, it was the right side. Sorry, the whole right side of his face.
Zach Werenski.
Yes, whole right side of his face, completely purple, bleeding profusely from under his eye.
You want to see the picture?
I've seen enough pictures. Like,
okay, it's a pretty bad picture.
It's a bad picture. He went back in the game like nothing was wrong. He got his face glued up to make sure that nothing was wrong, and the dude ended up having to come out because he couldn't see.
Right.
LeBron gets touched on the shoulder, and he's out for the rest of the game because he's having shoulder issues.
Well, he's got that problem with being a baby.
Have you seen? Okay, there's a commercial.
Yeah,
with
it
LeBron.
shows his baby's
That's
face.
awesome.
Yeah.
That commercial is amazing.
So, the main thing I want to talk about NHL-wise is I can't pick a clear winner.
No.
Where I just see it. So I'm going to ask you, who's going to be in the Stanley Cup Finals, and who's your Stanley Cup winner?
I think, like I said, the Caps are going to make it to the finals, and I think that they're going to win it all. I just think they have a solid team this year. But if I'm going to go over to the Western Conference and have to pick, the Ducks are a really good team. But I just think Edmonton, with how fast and hard-hitting they are, I think they're going to make it this year.
We're talking about fun series. Anaheim would play Edmonton.
That
in
would
the
be
next round.
such a great series.
Yes, that would be a fun series to watch. Did you have a winner? You said Washington would win? Okay. I think it's going to be St. Louis and Washington. I think St. Louis just has such an easy road.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, they're going to have to play Anaheim or Edmonton, most likely.
Which are two great teams.
So that's going to be hard, but I do think the Blues are just going to kill it.
Yeah.
Like, they are such a great team. I love watching the St. Louis Blues play. So it's going to be St. Louis, and I think it's going to be Washington. And I think Ovi is going to get his Stanley Cup. I think Ovechkin,
Ovi needs
Oshie, they're two great offensive players.
Oh.
But they're not just offensive. They're all-around guys.
And the thing that sets them apart is like I'm saying, it's just based off how the season went. But when you go into a shootout with the Capitals, you might as well just hand them the win and say, here you go. Because they have such amazing shooters on that team when it comes to the penalty shootout. They can't be stopped.
Right, and there's no more shootout in overtime. But when you think about that, if they're left on a breakaway.
Yeah, it's over, which happens all the time in overtime.
Yes.
That's what I was getting at. Because the 3-on-3, you get two people that are crashing the nets, and then you have one person that's up. So let's switch it out a little bit. We're going to talk about something that doesn't require much padding, the NBA. So we always talk.
Your segues are so getting worse.
Yeah, that one was really bad. You want a new one? You want a new one?
We'll do over. Take two.
Take two. All right, that was the clap. So we're going to go from the NHL, where you got to handle sticks and pucks, and talk about a sport that has a real ball, like in the NBA. The Western Conference.
Just say we're going to the NBA playoffs.
Do you want to talk playoffs? Playoffs?
We're going to go to the
playoffs?
NBA playoffs instead of the NHL playoffs.
Playoffs. Okay, so we're going to start on the Western Conference side of things.
Which is the actual competitive one.
That's pretty much the deciding factor.
Am I the only one who's not excited to watch any series in the East?
No. Okay. I am kind of excited.
Name one series, first-round series that you're excited to watch. Because, yes, Indiana and Cleveland was close in the first game, but I can tell you right now, it's not fun to watch. It's not exciting, and you want excitement out of the playoffs. I could watch any series in the West right now.
What about Chicago and Boston? Boston's down 1-0.
I don't think that's going to be an issue.
You don't think it's going to be an issue?
I think Boston will win that series in 6.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, so let's get back to the Western Conference. The Warriors and the Blazers. The first game that they played was 121-109, but there's somebody that I want to highlight, and you know this. I'm a big U of M fan. Love U of M. Go Blue. But I got to show some love to a Sparty real quick. Draymond Green had himself a game.
He's an unbelievable playoff performer.
He had 19 points, 12 rebounds, 5 blocks, which leads the NBA in the playoffs. But get this. Dude had 9 assists. He led Golden State in assists. And he's actually tied with Kyle Lowry for first place over the regular season. Or not first place, sorry, 10th place in the regular season.
It's only the one game, don't freak out.
No, in the regular season.
Okay.
He was tied with Kyle Lowry for 10th place for assists per game. That's something that people overlook about Draymond Green is he is really, really good at setting up people for easy shots.
I don't care about that. The man is an unbelievable defender.
Right. No, he really is. Like I said, 5 blocks. He had 3 steals, which is tied for first also for the playoffs, which, like you said, one game. So, but there's somebody else also that I wanted to point out from the Blazers actually was C.J. McCollum.
Yes.
Scored 41 points.
Well,
he performed.
If he doesn't score 41 points, nobody else will.
Well, Lillard, he scored 34.
That's that Portland argument. Without Lillard and McCollum,
they're done.
And Novik,
Novik didn't show up.
Oh, he didn't play.
Yeah.
That's why
he didn't show up.
You're acting like he didn't show up.
He didn't show up.
Man,
no.
he didn't play. Well, he didn't.
Yeah, exactly. He showed up in a suit. He didn't show up to play.
Right.
That's the point I'm getting at. So
that series is nothing.
It's done. It's Warriors.
I'm just gonna go through this real quick. It's gonna be Warriors, no problem. These are 4 or 5 games in my opinion. You can tell me if I'm wrong. Warriors, no problem. Cleveland, no problem. Milwaukee, no problem.
Spurs,
no problem. Houston, no problem.
Yep. Which was sad for me to see.
Why?
Because I like Russell.
So Russell doesn't like anyone.
Well, it sucks. I actually watched a lot of the Rockets Thunder game because it's intriguing.
Oh, like, yeah. I want to watch the MVP guys.
Yes, exactly. And, I mean, James Harden had himself a day in the first game. Houston won 118-87. So
after
OKC might as well have not showed up.
After watching that first game, I can tell you right now, I don't think OKC is going to win a game.
No.
And that's sad.
It is
that's
sad.
That's a very hot take to take.
It's not even a hot take. It's just true.
That the MVP leader isn't going to win a game in the playoffs?
Dude, it's the people he's surrounded by. Like, if you look at the team, Westbrook didn't play that great. He had 22 points, which, I mean, isn't terrible. He had 11 rebounds, 7 assists, but he had 9 turnovers.
Oh, the turnovers were unreal.
Yeah, it's bad.
I'm surprised you didn't argue with me on Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee will beat Toronto in 5 games.
That's going to be close.
And that's
that's going to be the closest one.
6-3. Oh, that's not going to be the closest one.
Yeah, that's not going to be the closest one?
Absolutely not.
Which one do you think is going to be the closest one?
In the East or in general?
Just in general, because I think
the Clippers and the Jazz will go to 7.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
They're very
Utah's up 1-0 right now.
I think the Clippers are going to win the series, but it's hard.
Utah is a team that's hard against anybody, really. But anyway, one person that I do want to mention who didn't show up at all, and to my knowledge, last year in the playoffs didn't really do much either, is Steven Adams on OKC.
He showed up in rebounding and defensive last year. He's not a big scorer.
No, he had 6 points, 5 rebounds.
He didn't play good, no.
No, he did not play good.
That's my point with Oklahoma City.
They don't have anybody.
Yeah.
Victor Oladipo didn't do anything either. He had 6 points. That's a dude that you brought in to average at least 12.
Correct. So there's no argument.
No, there's no argument. Houston's going to win. Harden had himself a game, 37 points, 7 rebounds,
about Oklahoma City.
9 assists.
I got upset and a little depressed.
One guy that I do want to mention.
It was a sad time to talk about Oklahoma City for them.
One guy I do want to mention from Houston, though, who actually helps the Rockets a lot more and doesn't get as much credit as he should, is Patrick Beverley.
Yes, he does.
He had 21 points and 10 rebounds.
Yes, he
That's
did.
that's a good game.
He had a great game.
So let's go to the Spurs and Grizzlies, who we think San Antonio is just gonna. They're just gonna be San Antonio, and the Grizzlies aren't gonna be as good as San Antonio. That's just what it is. Kawhi Leonard had 32 points, 5 assists, and 2 steals. He played good. It's Kawhi Leonard.
He played unbelievable.
That's our MVP if we
Yes.
thought that it was going to go to him possibly, but let's be honest, it's probably not.
It's probably going to go to Russell, which is very deserving.
Right, because
I just think
broke the
Kawhi
record and
had an unbelievable year.
well, the difference between Kawhi and we talked about this already. Kawhi and everybody else that is in the MVP race besides LeBron sometimes. Kawhi plays defense. Nobody else plays defense.
Right.
That's what sets him apart. But then also for the Grizzlies, though, and imagine if the Spurs had this Gasol brother. Marc Gasol had 32 points. That's a game.
Yes.
If you have 32 points against the Spurs, you're doing something right because that's hard to do.
Correct. I wanna get into something here. I think everyone's got an idea of what the finals are going to look like in the Eastern and Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
I think mine is going to be completely different from everyone's.
Ooh.
And you can tell me if I'm wrong. You may think I'm crazy, but
I already think you're crazy.
well, that's fine. My Western Conference Finals. So the two teams that are going to make it out of the West, not very shocking. It's going to be Golden State and San Antonio.
Fair.
And my Eastern Conference Finals is going to be the Washington Wizards and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
No, I see that. The Wizards are great, dude. John Wall and Bradley Beal together, they work so well
But
together.
do they have enough to make it to the Eastern Conference
Yes.
Finals? I'm saying they'll beat Boston.
Yes.
I'm saying without a doubt in my mind, Washington will beat Boston.
I think they will. I think it'll be a close one. It'll go to 6 games.
Okay.
Washington wins.
All right, and so after that, the Golden State Warriors will lose to San Antonio.
Ooh.
San Antonio will be in the finals with Cleveland.
Okay. So now that you say that, I do want to talk about something then, since we're going to talk about Golden State not going on.
Well, they're going to go to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, but not to the final.
They're not a finals team.
So
Yesterday's game against Portland, yes, they won by a lot of points, but they didn't look good. I can tell you
No.
right now they didn't look good.
they didn't look that great.
If Draymond didn't play the game he had and some of the bench guys didn't show up, they would not have won that game by any more than 5 or 6 points.
Well, I mean, Durant had 32 points and Curry had 29.
Correct, but Lillard had how many and McCollum had how many?
Lillard had 34 and McCollum had 41.
They matched with those two scores very well.
True. But let me bring this to your attention. In the 2015-16 season, we know the Warriors beat the record for most wins in a regular season. In the regular season, they averaged 114.9 points a game. Their field goal percentage was 48.7. They had 28.9 assists per game, 8.4 steals, and 6.1 blocks. What if I told you that this season their stats were better?
That doesn't surprise me. They have someone who came on the team who's arguably in the top 5 of the league, so no.
Even
I'm not
though they
shocked.
haven't won
No, I'm
as
not
many
shocked.
games.
No, I'm not shocked.
They
Hold
averaged
on,
this season.
Hold on. No, I'm not shocked.
Okay. They averaged 115.9 points per game, 49.5% field goal percentage, 30.4 assists a game, 9.6 steals a game, and 6.8 blocks a game.
So they were already the best.
And they're better than
and
they
now
were.
they're better than the best with Kevin Durant.
Yeah. Do
you hear what you're saying?
No, I understand what I'm saying. But even though like they haven't, let's say, performed like they did last year, they're outperforming themselves last year. And yes, I understand Kevin Durant does help a lot, but Kevin Durant wasn't in the whole regular season either, you know?
They also have JaVale McGee, who plays better than Andrew Bogut. So that doesn't your fact has done nothing.
JaVale McGee? You're adding him.
He's done a lot. He's done very good this year.
He's
You
a decent player.
Decent player.
He's a
Cameron.
decent player. He's not amazing.
JaVale McGee is one of the reasons that they're the number 1 seed right now. Yes.
Ask Shaq that and see what he says.
Don't care what Shaq says.
No, dude, like JaVale. I'm more shocked that you said JaVale McGee just now.
What are you talking about?
What, like, why do you think he's like one of the reasons That's what I'm
He
confused
plays
about.
the center position so well.
I understand that, but like, does he start?
No, that's the
Yeah.
point. When you have a team like the Warriors, the starters don't matter as much as the bench players.
How many points does he score a game?
He averages 6.2 points per game.
How many steals does he get a game? How many blocks does he
Steals?
get a game?
You're not. Yes, he's not a stats magnet, as I'll say, but he plays a very good defensive rebounding game, and he plays a very good defensive game. JaVale McGee, I think, has helped his team a lot. I'm not saying he's the best player on the team. I'm saying
No, I know you're not saying
what
that.
I said, to quote you, is he's one of the reasons.
I just don't see it.
Okay, that's
Fair
fine.
enough.
But I'm making sure you don't think I'm absolutely insane. You can think I'm crazy,
You're a little crazy.
but absolutely insane is.
Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy.
But here's my number, so we're gonna go to Kicking It with Cam.
Ooh. I wasn't ready for that, but yeah, let's go to Kicking It with Cam. That was a better segue than any of the ones that I've been pulling out of my butt today so far. So, we got the MLS. In the eastern side of things, we got the Crew still on top, dominating. They got 13 points on the season. Orlando has 12 points on the season, and the Chicago Fire has 11 points on the season. And watch out, Atlanta is dropping fast. They are 6th place now after they were in the top 3 last week, but they still have the best goal differential in the East with +7. You go to the Western Conference, the Timbers have 13 points, Sporting KC has 12 points, and FC Dallas has 11 points. And let's look at the other expansion team, Minnesota, 10 points, or they're in 10th place. 10th place. The only team worse than them is Colorado Rapids, which made some news today with their goalie, Tim Howard. He's suspended for 3 games for verbally assaulting a fan. We don't know what he said. It hasn't come out what he said, but it's sort of like the Messi thing. Messi talked to a ref, got suspended 4 games. Tim Howard talked to a fan and got suspended 3 games. Yes, he's had a rough season so far. He got hurt, came back, and hasn't really played like himself, but he's got this Colorado Rapids team who is in dead last in the West. They are 1-3-1 with a -3 goal differential, even with the U.S. national team's goalie on their team. But their defense is atrocious. Absolutely awful. So, that was my thing. Tim Howard, the workhorse, isn't able to keep playing. But let's talk about some real horsies. Let's go to the Derby talk.
Oh, yes. One of my favorite events of the year is the Kentucky Derby. And, of course, you got Belmont and you got the Preakness. Just those couple weeks with horses, Cameron, it's amazing. So now instead of talking about NASCAR for a little bit, for just 2 minutes until I'm going to give you some of the top horses this year.
I have a real quick question.
Absolutely.
While they're racing, do they turn left?
They actually do.
You love sports where they just go in an oval and turn left. Is it just easier for you to watch than other sports, or?
It's not complicated. I mean, it's very easy for me to watch a car go around in a circle, or watch a horse run around in a circle, or anything go around in a circle. So it works. Anyway, would you like me to tell you about one of my favorite horses?
Yeah, let me hear about these horses.
Well, actually, it's just one. I'm
Okay.
just going to tell you about one each week. There's this horse called Gwinn.
Ooh.
Gwinn, the owner is Brad Grady. Trainer is Joe Sharp. Breeder is Bob Austin and John Witt. And at the moment, he has 150 points as he takes his road to the Derby. Gwinn is an unbelievably fast horse. This guy, he starts out slow, and then he goes faster. This horse.
Horsey.
Sorry. But he is a great horse. This is someone I want you to look at going into the Derby because he's won a couple big races this year. And Gwinn's going to be one. And another person I want you to look at, another horse, sorry.
Horsey.
Is Classic Empire. The owner is John C. Oaksley. Trainer is Mark E. Cassie. Breeder is Steven Nicholson and Brady Nicholson. So when you look at horses, you got to talk about the names, of course.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite name right now, he's 5th in the road to the Derby. He's not exactly as good as all the rest of the horses, but I can tell you right now, I love this name. You're not prepared for this name. The Irish War Cry.
The Irish War Cry.
The Irish War Cry.
How do these horses get their names? Seriously.
Oh, I love it.
I don't get it. I love it too. The names are awesome. Like I said earlier, though, horses freak me out.
3 horses to look for in the Derby as we're coming into one of the greatest sports events of the year. Gwinn, Classic Empire, and Irish Warcry. All of them have over 100 points in the road to the Derby. And when it comes up to Derby time, these could be the ones up there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, horses freak me out. The only horse that I will go by is Sandy at Meyer. Put a little penny in the slot, and you get to ride that horse for about 15 seconds.
Well, that's fine. You can do that. But actually, horses are beautiful creatures, Cameron.
Dude, they're just I don't know what it is about them, but they're freaky to me. Like just at any moment, knowing that you can just get stomped out because they get spooked over like little things. I think that freaks me out. I kind of, quite honestly, if they're on the other side of the fence, yeah, sure, I'll pet your nose, I'll give you a carrot, whatever you want. But like, I don't mess with horses.
Correct that you shouldn't mess with horses because they don't like you.
It's not that they don't like me. It's just that dude, I don't know. It's like an irrational fear that people have. Mine's horses.
All right, so we're going to get into the draft, but right before the draft, I have something very serious to talk with you about involving football, and it's one of the worst things I can say in my life, and that was, Cameron, you were right. It was reported this past weekend that Marshawn Lynch has reached a deal with Oakland.
Heyo!
And a couple weeks ago, you said this as surprising news. Would he be back? And I said there is no way he would come back. Well, it looks like Marshawn Lynch is coming back. What's the impact?
How do those words taste in your mouth?
It tastes awful. Tastes like tomatoes and syrup, which are the only 2 things I don't like in life.
Syrup?
I don't like syrup.
You don't like maple syrup?
Don't like maple syrup.
What do you eat with your pancakes?
Butter. I don't like maple syrup.
You don't double up with butter and maple syrup?
I do not like syrup.
You're a weird creature.
Anyway, but
to get back to your question.
Lynch was an unbelievable running back, and
The Skittles
he was hard
man.
to take down. But will he have the same effect in Oakland as he did in Seattle?
He will not. He won't. He's going to – I mean, when you're removed from the game for an extended period of time like he was, it's hard to bounce back because these linebackers are getting bigger by the year, it seems. Everybody on defense is just getting stronger, it seems. But Marshawn Lynch doesn't have the same setup that he did with Russell Wilson and that offensive line. Seattle has a pretty decent offensive line. Nobody really talks about it, though. And that's what Marshawn Lynch is going to miss when he goes to, Vegas now.
Yes. I'm sorry,
But-
not Oakland. It's the Vegas Raiders now.
Right. So Derek Carr, yeah, he's going to be a good quarterback. And I think the biggest thing that Marshawn Lynch is going to do for the Raiders is he's going to boost the younger running backs. I think he's going to turn into one of those like mentor type players where he gets touches on the ball every game, yes, but he's going to be helping out the younger guys.
Oakland has the ability, in my opinion, in the next couple of years to be a Super Bowl winner
I was hoping you were going to say that.
because they have an amazing quarterback.
Yes.
They have an amazing receiving
Yes.
core. They have a good defense.
Mhm.
Not a great defense.
No,
that
but
defense
good
isn't
enough.
amazing.
Good enough.
It's good enough to be as an old-time Saints team where they could score
Yes.
50 points, so it didn't matter if they gave up 30.
Exactly.
That's how Sean Payton did his teams, and I think Del Rio will do the same thing in Oakland. I'm going to disagree with you. I think Marshawn Lynch can transform this team into a two-time running down. And what I
Okay.
mean by that is if it's 1st and 10, you run. If it's 2nd and 2, you run. You focus on run more to open up time for Carr to do play action, for Carr to throw more, and for those receivers to get open more. Because when you have an amazing run, what does that do to your pass?
It allows you to just open up and find better receivers because it's going to sink the defense down low. So you're going to open up the backfield.
I think if Marshawn Lynch does go to Vegas and this all works out, there's some paperwork issues and all that legality.
Well, the fact that he's still with Seattle.
That's correct. So I don't know if they're going to give it to him. My only point is if Marshawn Lynch goes to Vegas, it's going to be an unbelievable year.
So maybe I misheard your question, but are you saying that Marshawn Lynch is going to be as good as he was?
Yes, I think
he is?
I think he won't miss a beat.
You don't think okay. That's fair.
I think
See, like the thing is, I think he's going to be a few steps behind. Am I saying that he's not going to get better as the season's going? No, I'm not saying that. But I think the first few games, you're not going to see the same Marshawn Lynch that we've seen.
of course not.
But I do agree with you that he is going to make this team better.
Correct. And it's just very hard to tell from coming back.
Oh, you're so bitter and salty right now. I can tell. You're
Why?
still upset that I got that right.
Oh yeah, I am. That's just ruined my whole day.
Your whole day? You know what's funny is I wasn't going to bring it up because I mean, I feel bad that you got it wrong, that you said it's absolutely no way this is going to happen.
No, you don't.
You were a salty dog about
You
it.
do not feel bad.
No, I don't. I'm actually.
Okay.
You guys can't see it, but I'm smirking, laughing right now. Right when he said Marshawn Lynch's name, my eyes got big. I'm like, haha. He's finally admitting that he was wrong.
I admit when I'm wrong. As
Yes.
a man, I'm supposed to admit when I'm wrong. But I want to go on. We're talking about the running back. So a very important position when you're talking about the running back is the offensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Last week I talked about quarterbacks. This week I want to talk about the offensive tackles.
Okay.
There are 2 offensive tackles in the first round that I think people need to grab right away. Just get as soon as possible.
Is one of them from Alabama?
One of them's from Alabama. Is that like an obvious?
I mean, it kind of is when it comes to, I think, O-line and D-line. For any pro team, they want to try to find somebody from Alabama. Saban just knows how to get those big NFL-ready guys for his 2 lines.
Well, that's true. One from Alabama. If you guess where the other one is, I'll give you $1.
You'll give me $1?
Give you $1 if you guess the college.
Is it SEC?
I'm not giving you any more hints.
Oh, that's not cool, dude. It's not cool, man.
Sorry. Just take a quick guess.
You want me to take a quick guess?
Yeah, just for fun.
Tennessee.
No, Wisconsin. But anyway,
Whiskey.
but these 2 offensive tackles I want you to look at. This guy, his average is late first round. On Todd McShay's board, he's going to Denver, number 20 right now, which he's going to change it in a couple days.
Yeah, because
So I
he
wouldn't
always
take
changes it.
But anyway, this is a very good offensive tackle, Cameron.
Okay.
Ryan Rumsky? Look at that name.
Raminski.
Is it Raminsky?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, he's an offensive tackle from Wisconsin. This guy is an unbelievable great tackle. Look at his numbers. He's 6'6", 310 pounds.
That's a big dude.
And when you come from Wisconsin, you're used to running the ball.
Yep.
So I think this guy's going to be a great pickup. And going to Denver would be perfect for him at 20. But when you look at the people who are picking right above him, 19 is Tampa, 18 is Tennessee, 17 is Washington, 16 is Baltimore, and 15 is Indianapolis. My opinion, Indianapolis has to get him to protect Andrew Luck.
That should be a no-brainer.
But why is he dropping to 20, you think? Is it because they want more skilled players?
It's because Indianapolis is a dumb team that doesn't know how to draft properly, in my opinion.
I said other people, but
Well, no, that's
if
like...
you want to attack the whole city of
quite
Indianapolis,
honestly,
that's fine.
I said team. The city of Indianapolis is a nice city.
If you want to attack the whole team of Indianapolis, that's fine.
Andrew Luck is a great player, and that's the only asset that you really have, in my opinion.
Yes.
He stays healthy and plays well, your team succeeds. He gets hurt, your team's done.
Correct. I'm shocked that nobody really wants him until 20.
Yeah, that's
because he's arguably a top 3 offensive tackle.
right. Who does on Todd McShay's board? Who is Indianapolis picking?
They're picking a linebacker. At the moment, his list could change.
Yeah, I know.
But on Todd McShay's board right now, number 15, Indianapolis is picking Hassan Reddick, inside linebacker from Temple.
You know, that's not a bad pick, though.
It's not a bad pick, but I'm saying why are they not beefing up their offensive line? It comes to the whole question of, which is what I was getting to, but I was doing it very slowly.
Okay.
Do people want skill players and forget about the beefy linemen? Do you think people forget about that in general, involving football?
In general, yes. But what do a majority of the good teams have?
They have great linemen.
Yes, exactly. So I don't know why the NFL isn't, like the other organizations that don't have the great lines, don't realize what they're doing wrong. Well, what are we doing wrong? What is it? Do we need better receivers? Do we need a better quarterback? No, you need an offensive line to help your quarterback. Quite frankly, you can have an average quarterback, but with a great offensive line, that quarterback is going to play way better than he normally would. He's got more time to think. He's got more time to figure out who's open. He can look at 2, 3, 4 receivers if he has to, or a tight end. He's got time to figure it out, which for some quarterbacks, the decision-making isn't as snappy as other quarterbacks, which Andrew Luck has a pretty, in my opinion, I think he's got a good, snappy, like, head on a swivel. He's not open. Okay, I got him. That's Andrew Luck. So if you just add 2 more offensive linemen who can help you, you're going to be not great, but you're going to be better than you were.
Correct. Next I want to talk about is Cam Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
He's an offensive tackle from the University of Alabama.
Hey.
And this guy is unbelievable, Cameron. He's 6'6". He's 322 pounds. This guy is a former top 5 national recruit.
Yeah.
As a All-American. He was All-SEC twice. This guy is unbelievable. They got him going number 5 to Tennessee right now.
Okay.
But these are two offensive tackles who are really going to do some damage next year. I guarantee it, and help with the run, help with the pass, just be great offensive linemen.
Tennessee's doing it right.
Yes, because
Like
they need to protect Mariota.
Like you said, Mariota's going to be a good quarterback in this league. I agree. Mariota in college was, in my opinion, a decent quarterback. But I think he's developing really, really well in the NFL. He is figuring out his play style. When he was at Oregon, he was more, okay, nobody's open, I'm just going to tuck and run, which worked for him. But now in the NFL, he's actually finding his receivers. He's spending a little more time in the pocket than he used to without breaking down and running. He's figured it out.
Now, you said, do you remember 2 weeks ago when we talked about who the Lions should draft, and we both said it may change?
Mm-hmm.
Mine changed.
Okay.
From Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
And, see, you're not going to like it because it's based on name, but I think you're going to like it because he was a really good player.
Okay.
I think this T.J. Watt from Wisconsin, you may have heard of his brother.
I might have. My sister's kind of obsessed with him.
Your sister is obsessed with J.J. Watt.
Dude, she put the notifications on his Instagram.
She told me.
Yeah.
The last time I was over at your
Yeah.
house. Yeah. Anyway, but T.J. Watt is an unbelievable player.
He actually is, yeah.
Defensive end, could play outside linebacker because of his speed. I think they should go defensive lineman rather than offense.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. They had a couple pickups in the offseason that helped their offensive line, so that's fair. Why don't you look in the defensive line? I think the big difference between JJ and TJ is TJ's a little faster.
He is faster.
He's
He is a little bit.
A little bit faster. He's not. I wouldn't say he's as beefy as his brother, but he's fast, which helps him a lot. He doesn't have the best tackling ability like his brother does, but his brother developed it. That's the difference. So you give TJ a little time. I think he's gonna be just as good, if not maybe a little better, than JJ.
Well, you didn't change your answer yet of having a secondary member. I think we should go defensive line.
I like that pick. That's a good pick.
That pick?
I'd be okay with that.
So we always talk about who they should go in the first round, and that's all we've really talked about. Who should they get in the second round? What position should we be looking for?
I think running back in the second round.
Okay.
I think you can find a decent running back in the second round if you're going to go for a defensive player in the first round. I think a couple running backs will drop.
All right.
I think this is going to be a defense-heavy first round.
Yeah, we've talked about that before.
That's fair to say.
It's going to be very defense-heavy. It's going to be different than most of the quarterbacks. And I say this because I don't think any of the quarterbacks are going to be amazing starting quarterbacks.
No.
Including Deshaun Watson and Mitch Trubisky.
No, they're not going to be amazing, especially I think Mitch is going to have a little bit of a better career overall than Deshaun Watson is, just because Mitch has more of a leadership quality to him than Deshaun does, in my opinion. But it's hard to tell.
But I don't see any of these guys being Marcus Mariota or Andrew Luck.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
So you're happy with the Lions' defensive lineman?
Yeah, I like that.
Would you be happy if they picked up a safety?
I swear. No, I'm cutting you off right now. No.
Maybe someone who played like quarterback sometimes.
No.
Did the punt returns?
No.
The kickoff returns?
Stop it. Yes, I'm a Michigan slappy, but I don't think Jabril Peppers is going to be amazing like some people do. No, they are not picking Jabril Peppers.
Okay.
That's all the time we got today. Sorry I got a little frustrated with that question. I'm sick of hearing his name.
Next week we're going to be talking full NFL draft, first round predictions, Lions predictions, since it's next Thursday.
Ooh.
And of course we're going to be talking about a little derby, a little soccer.
Derby.
And we'll be having our conversations about the NHL and NBA playoffs. We won't be talking about baseball until the playoffs have calmed down.
And you know what's funny? Coincidentally, when rivals playing soccer, they call it a derby also. You didn't know that. So, again, this is a Cam Jam experience. Cam Gwinn was talking at you. Jimmy Paxton throwing in some information wherever we can. Thank you guys for listening, and check us out next week.
Bum, 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 bum.
We're walking, yeah, we're walking. We're walking to school. We're walking to school. Yeah, we're walking to school.